Alright, I'm making this short little video on my drill press on the depth stop adjustment, right? Which is that guy right there. I had no clue my drill press even had this until the handle fell out the other day and I was putting it back on and saw that gauge and was like, I wonder what that's for. But if you guys haven't already done a little grinder drill press combo, I highly recommend it. So get that stand from Harbor Freight. It's like 35 bucks. Mount the drill press base right to the stand, and then just mount your grinder right to the front of the drill press stand, that cast iron. Drill 2 holes and mount it right up, and then you got a little workstation. So anyway, I'm going to show you how to adjust this depth stop, right? So you don't have to keep measuring every hole. And I guess really this is only handy if you've got a buttload of holes to drill. Otherwise, adjusting it and setting it up for each hole takes way too long. You'd rather just measure the drill bit and tape the drill bit and then stop it yourself. But anyway, I'll show you how to get this bad boy set up so you can drill a million holes at the same depth with your eyes closed. So mine didn't have the right screw, right? So I'm using this long, super long screw and an Allen wrench, right? So that's why I never noticed it even had this feature in the first place, because there was no way to adjust it. It was just free floating. All right, so see it says 0 right there? So if I were to set that to 0, it wouldn't go anywhere, right? Because it's locked at 0, right? But if I take this and set it around to 1, right there, then in theory, the distance that spindle travels, or the chuck, will be 1 inch, right? So let's crank that bad boy down and see what's going on here. Crank it down. And when messing with this, I realized that you need to know, the reason it takes so long to set up, or it's so ridiculous to set up, is because you need to know the thickness of the piece that you're drilling in. In this case, this is 1.5 inch piece of wood, right? So you need to know how thick that is. And then the other setting that's important is how high your drill bit is from your piece of wood. Right here I've got 1/4 inch. Okay, so in theory this should be set at, everybody say it with me, 1.25 inches. Good job. So we're going to set that at 1.25 inches, which is there. Right, and I already know this is going to be wrong because I've tested it a bunch already, and I know that chuck thing is about 1/8 of an inch, 3/16 of an inch off, but we'll go ahead and do this. Alrighty, so I'm going to drill the hole. And right there it stopped all by itself, okay? Doesn't go any farther. Okay, we're going to shut that off. And I've got the calipers here, or the, I guess they're called calipers. So it was this hole I just drilled. So I've got the depth meter, Pittsburgh, yeah, you can tell I shop at Harbor Freight. It's set at 1 inch, right? And it's not touching the base of the hole. I'm about 1/8 of an inch or 3/16 of an inch off, right? So let's go back here and adjust this. So it was at 1.25 inches, right? So this would be 1.5 inches. I'm going to be 1/16 of an inch down from there. Because 1/4 plus 3/16 is, everybody say it with me, 7/16. Good job. So we're going to crank that down. Okay. Or as A lot of the kids nowadays say 7 little lines, or a couple big lines plus a little line, or they just say a fat quarter. That one I like a lot, fat quarter. That's real accurate. Or you know, a cunt hair over 3/8, something like that. Anyway, here we go. And it stopped by itself. Okay, let's check it. Did we get it? And really, I never care about stuff like this. Tonight, I'm just dorking out super hard and learned something new about this tool. Okay, so now we're at 1 inch. Look. Come on. Okay, that's the tip of the 1 sticking out right there. So, and then here, we are bottomed out. So now, if I really wanted to, I could just crank out a bunch of 1 inch holes, right? Shift that on over. Come on, baby. There we go. One-handed. Crank another hole. You get the idea. So that's how you do the depth stop on a drill press. Let's say, real quick, you want it to go to 2 inches, right? We already learned that we need to be a fat quarter over whatever measurement we want to drill to. So that's the discrepancy on this gauge, right? So we want 2 inches. We would go to 2. Everybody say it with me. And a fat quarter. Good job. 7/16, 2 and 7/16, because that's the quarter from the quarter inch from the drill bit to the workpiece, plus the 3/16 that the gauge is off, plus the 2 inches that we want to go deep, right? So in this case, the wood's only 1.5 inches, so it'll go all the way through and be sticking out a 1/2 inch out of the bottom. Which I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but you can see the drill bit is about a 1/2 inch sticking out of the bottom, right? So good job. Good job, we did it. So again, this setting is only useful, in my opinion, if you're drilling a lot of holes at the same depth over and over and over. Otherwise, to drill one hole, I guess it doesn't take too long to set up it once you realize how off your gauge is, how thick your workpiece is. Then you got to set your table to 1 inch, a 1/4 inch below your drill bit, whatever your workpiece height is, right? So you would loosen this and adjust your work table height, leaving that 1/4 inch, because if the workpiece is too close, you run the risk of damaging it when you're getting it into position. So I would just leave a 1/4, always add a 1/4 to your measurements, plus 3/16, because the gauge is off. Hopefully, in your case, your gauge is accurate. So all you'd have to do is add 1 inch, or add a 1/4 to whatever depth that you want to drill, unless you feel like being risky and starting your hole with your drill bit touching your workpiece and scratching it all to hell. So hope that helps somebody. I felt like when I found out how to use this, that it was some groundbreaking knowledge that I had just acquired. I was not only very proud of myself for figuring it out, but also very happy to know that a drill press that I paid $50 at the garage sale for and have used for 10 years or so had some undiscovered feature on it that now I don't, or that now I'm not going to use, just like I didn't use it for the previous 10 years. But someone out there might use theirs and might find it handy. So if you do, and this video helped you learn how to set yours, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. right? Because this is my third video on YouTube, so that'll help. And then give me a subscribe, and I'll keep making these really dry comedy, dry humorous, somewhat helpful DIY fix-it shop type videos. All right, see you on the next one.